I wanna go to sleep before Raw!
Purchase your tracks today.
Purchase them from Alan Ulysses. Blunt. I'm gonna have to kill somebody. 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 Have to kill somebody. You gonna have to kill somebody. You gonna have to kill somebody.
Purchase your tracks today.
Oh, you gon' have to kill somebody. 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 You gon' have to kill somebody tonight. You gon' have to kill somebody. You gon' have to kill somebody tonight. Super chat.
I want Kermel.
Kermel, Mermel, German, Steven, German, Merman, Harvin, Marvin, I'm going to, fuck you, Dickie Nos, I want Kermel too, I want Kermit the Frog, yo, up inside of you, wonder what I'd do if I came inside you, I would probably take out my bum and then go fucking poo. I want that Kermel. Dickie Nos want it bad. I want that Kermel. Dickie Nos have a dad. Icky hummus. Humma.
Purchase your tracks
Shama
today.
lama. Humma dama dolly lama. Smoke it if you got it. All you crackers in the house fucking farted. Monday Night Raw tonight is gonna make me wanna kill myself.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry. You guys asked for a... It's been a while since I, It's been a week and a half. It's only been a week or something like that since I, It's only been fucking a week, but... Because everybody was, dropping a couple dollars on the gaming stream the other night, I promised I would do a midday stream today. I was gonna do it around 3, but I pushed it off a little bit here. I was actually gonna do it... Yeah, probably around 3 or 2:30. I forget what time, but anyway, I pushed it off. I put it aside, and now I'm ready to go. Right, and that track was making me fucking, dude. I want to smoke a fucking giant fucking bowl and just fucking sip a Corona and then just be naked in a room. That's what that song made me want to do. Dude, all these songs are like just jammy. Just whip out the drums. Phones have been activated. What's up, everybody? You want to talk about WWE? We can do that. If you want to talk about ticket sales, you want to talk about the rumors about anything about me, if you think that I'm a psychopath or a murderer or whatever, we can talk about that. If you want to talk about WWE, AEW, you want to talk about something completely different I don't even know about, you got dad problems, you got girl problems, you got mom problems, maybe your dog is a cunt, I don't know. Fuck it. And we're going to talk about it here as always. Been doing this for 8 years on YouTube. It's never going to get old to me, apparently. But it's good to be here with the 25th edition of the Midday Anything Goes, Cronin Speaks, live podcast, Q&A, video thing, rant, open forum bullshit thing. If the phone number's not working, please let me know, because I would think it's working, but if it's not, please let me know. David Delicious in the chat says, Joe, I heard your cock is huge. No, it's not. I wish it was. That'd be awesome. It's like average in every way you can be average. It's like average thickness. It's average. It's not too skinny, you know, but it's not fat either. It's just a regular medium, you know. Like, I wish it was a little fatter, and I wish it was a little bit longer. I wish it was stronger. I wish it had a... No, I'm just kidding. But, seriously, yeah, no, it's 6.5 inches, man. Come on. That's just regular, you know. It's the regular deal. Regular size. You know, average is between 5.5 and 6.5, I think, so... Your dick can be... A lot of times, dicks are too big. It's true. They're too big, and it's like, ugh. And like Andrew in the chat says, my wife is complaining that my dick is too big. What do I do? Get a new wife. Boom. Problem fucking solved, man. Throw her out. Grab a new one. Grab a new one. Get a new wife, man. Get yourself a new wife. Super chat. Super chat.
Joe, do you approve of banging MILFs?
Yes. Hey, my wife's texting me right now, speaking of that. Leah's texting me. I gotta text her back. There we go. The Goon!
We got the Goon up in this bitch tonight. We got the Goon up in this bitch tonight. We got the Goon. He like the poon. He like to get the poon. Gook it up while he's on the motherfucking moon. Yeah, up in the moon where the aliens are. Fucking dark side of the moon. The Goon wants to lick a girl's poon.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, MILF, yeah, fuck yeah. So back when, you know, Leah's not here, so I can tell this story. I mean, she already knows the story, but I just wouldn't want to keep retelling shit like this if she was here, because it's probably fucking... Probably annoying to her, but... Yeah, years ago, you know, I couldn't believe it, man, because for years, I thought my buddy's aunt was hot as hell. I was like, man, she's hot. Even when I was a kid, like, when I was like 12... and 11. Maybe, actually, you know what? Maybe when I was 10. I might have been 10, 11, 12. I used to see her every once in a while. I'd be like, oh my crud, oh my Christ, that girl is hot. You know? I used to think that when I was like 12. And, you know, she must have been... Yeah, so I was like 19. She was 32 or something. So, yeah, she's like 12 years older than me. So she must have been like 22. 21, 22 when I was 12. And I used to be like, God damn, that girl's hot. Wow. And when I was 18 or 19, I think it was 9. It might have been 19 or 20. I was one of those two. She was like 33. And at the time, she seemed way older. Like, now 33 doesn't seem old to me. This wasn't that long ago, man. It was it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. But I remember thinking, like, damn, that's like an older woman. Like, that's a real woman. Like, she's 34 or 33 or 32, whatever it was. I'm like, that's a woman. Like, this is crazy. Like, when I would see her at the time, and I was like, damn, she's still hot, like, kind of, you know, and she's crazy. And yeah, she was a MILF. She was a MILF to like 3 different dads though, with 3 different other dads, which should have been a red flag, but you know. So I went ahead and I was like, one night we were drinking or whatever. The weird thing was I think she had a boyfriend at the time, and we were drinking one night and something happened. It was fucking crazy. And yeah, it was fucking unbelievable. I'll tell you that. I couldn't fucking believe it. So yeah, I recommend MILFs. Recommend a MILF. Because they know what they're doing, man. And they know you're like a young guy too, so they'll fucking, from what I've experienced, they'll like give you a fucking, they'll give you a break, you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't do the right thing. I'd say the first time I hooked up with her like 3 times. First time I hooked up with her, it was like weird, it was quick and weird, and I second time I passed out, and the third time was, no, the second time was much better. First time I like passed out, but like it was alright. Second time was really good, and the third time I was too drunk, like too drunk to do anything. It's crazy. So yeah, that was I thought she was really you know, she kind of looked like Heather is it Heather Graham? Is that who I'm thinking of? Hold on, let me look her up. Hold on. Heather Graham. Yeah, Heather Graham. And I'm being serious. She looks a lot like her. So, but like with like black hair, you know what I mean? So picture Heather Graham with black hair. So here's Heather Graham. I would say this is what she looked like when I was you know, when I was like 12 and she was like 22. This is what she looked like. She looked like that. And I would say that she looked more like this when I actually hooked up with her. She was like a little more aged, like this, you know. But to me, it was like, wow, it's pretty cool. Yeah, she kind of looked like this with black hair at the time when I hooked up with her. Like that, but like black hair. Like, and I'm talking like pretty goddamn close. You know? Boom. Oh my god, you remember when I did some kind of song to this like a year ago, this song? This song? I did some kind of song to that about a year ago. What up, Dickie Nos? Dickie Nos. Getting fucked up by the mods for putting some kind of weird link fucking in the chat. We're going to the bar, and the bar is called Nipples and Balls. I got this fucking guy, the Goon. So Goon, there's the answer to your donation, Goon. Thanks for the donation, Goon. I appreciate the $2 super chat. And shout out to Dickie Nos before that with the prior super chat from Dickie Nos. Anything goes on episode 25. I know I told you guys I'd do this stream around 3 today, but I pushed it back a little bit. So shout out to everybody that wanted this today. So go ahead, man. You guys wanted it. Here we go. 339-226-6610. Is the fucking phone lines working, or did I fuck something up? Is the phone lines not working? Someone's saying it's not working. That's true? Open phone lines. Anybody call up? We're good. Let me see. Motherfucker! Sorry. Just lost my mind there. Oh, fuck. You know what? I had all these sound files in a spot, and now I gotta go get them all again.
It's fucking good!
Ugh.
Jokes is about masturbation.
Oh. My bad. I had the fucking phone lines off.
Super
Hang on a minute.
Chat.
I'm sorry, everybody. Give me 1 second. Oh, Goldleaf.
What's good, Joe? Cheers. We'll see Bray tonight.
Yeah, I heard we're gonna see Bray Wyatt tonight. That's a big possibility. I bet we will. And part of that, dude, the ticket sales right now are just awful. Ticket sales are just fucking abysmal right now. Some of the worst ever. The arena's capable of 20,000 seats. They've tarped it off so there's only 10,000 available seats, and they're not even available. They've only made 7,000 seats available, and those are not sold out. Gold Leaf. 10,000 seats are available, but they've only made 7,000 seats available right now, and not all those have not sold yet. For, 20,000 seat arena. Gold Leaf, thank you for the $3, man. And now we're gonna go over to Skype. I sang 508. I hung up on you. I'm sorry, 508. Gold Leaf, thank you so much for the $3, man. Keeping the shows going. And shout out to all the Patreons out there, the patron people, the patron fucking patrol. Man, there was a hilarious fight on Patreon in the comments. And it wasn't a bad fight. It was just an argument. It was fucking hilarious. I was reading it this morning. I almost fucking died. 574, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? Me and my friend is here, sitting here, smoking a blunt, eating a turkey meat sandwich,
Sucking dick? Or...
No, eating a turkey meat sandwich.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Fuck that. Eat those turkeys before they eat us.
Yeah, bro. Fuck that bae.
Fuck that bae's pussy, yeah.
Fuck that bae, bro.
Well,
And fuck Tommy, that fat fucking retard autistic motherfucker.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry, Tommy, if you hear this, but you are a cunt. No, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Anything else you want to say?
Dave Rose, you're a motherfucking king, motherfucker. Joe Cronin, you're a badass motherfucker, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. Dave Rose is a king, man. He really fucking is. Fuck that bae's pussy, everybody. Hashtag, everybody in the chat right now. Hashtag, fuck that bae's pussy in the chat. Fuck yeah. What a great call that was. That's the type of call Joe Cronin likes. That's how you start a fucking show. Wow. Hang on the line, callers. We'll get you on in a second. Oh my God, Tommy. My God, Tommy, no. That's disgusting, Tommy. You're sick.
I wanna fuck that bae until cum comes out of her fucking eyeballs.
Oh my God. Hang on a second. Hang on a second, callers. We'll get you on in a second. And we're going to be joined by the devious Dave Rose in a minute. Hang on. Stay tuned.
I wanna fuck that bae until cum comes out of her fucking eyeballs. I wanna fuck that bae until cum comes out of her fucking eyeballs. Fuck that bae.
This is so fucked up, dude. Oh, shit. Holy shit.
Frog off.
I'm curious on how many superstars WWE has now compared to the 90s. I feel like there's way more. Could this be impacting storytelling? Just too much going on. I feel like there's 200 now compared to like 50 to 75 back in the day.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, Big Matt, and I thank you, Big Matt, for that $20 super chat, man. Thank you so much. That is the largest donation of the stream from Big fucking Matt. Big Matt, give him a round of applause in the chat. Give him some love in the chat for Big Matt. Everybody talk about everything that could be big about Big Matt. Like Big Matt's cock, his fucking life, his money, his bank account. Big Matt, $20, thank you. No, it's no doubt about it that the superstars, there's way too many of them. But I would argue that they are superstars. That's the problem. They have way too much talent compared to back in the day. Instead of having 50 guys and like 10 of them are superstars, you have like fucking 200 guys and girls and fucking like none of them are on the superstar level of the previous wrestlers. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. Now listen, let me go to this caller first. He was the first one to call and hang on the line for a minute. 314, hello.
Hey, what's going on, Joe? It's actually Rambo Mode 92.
Oh my God, Rambo Mode 92. You have been a motherfucking badass. Yeah, you're a badass.
Bro, I'm actually surprised I got through, man. That's crazy.
Hell yeah, man. These day streams, you know, every week or week and a half or 2 weeks I do them, and everybody wanted me to do them more. So yeah, you get through a lot more on these. Rambo's gonna go Rambo. I am the law! I'm sorry. Yeah, so, and Dave Rose is here too. We'll get him on in a minute, but Rambo, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Just in St. Louis, still trying to come down from the high of the blues.
God, fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
My bad, bro.
I know, I'm just kidding. Hang on a minute, though. Let me pause the donations real quick. Yo, Dickie Nos, you dirty motherfucker!
Why in the fuck do they keep pushing the Samoan jackass Borman fag? 4 or 5 years and they still can't understand he is not the guy. Nor is squeaky voice Seth. Dean clearly could have been if they let him loose. The same cannot be said about the other two.
Well, here's the problem, Dickie Nos. And Dickie Nos, thank you for the $4. Here's the problem. We knew 4 years ago that Roman was not the guy. If they had known 4 years ago and flipped him heel 4 years ago, we may be on a different path and trajectory here. But they're fucking idiots. So here we are. Dickie Nos, thank you for the $4. I appreciate that. Back to Barracuda, celebrating the St. Louis Blues. No, in all honesty, though, dude, even though, like, I've only gotten one Stanley Cup my whole life, so it's not like, you know, you're spoiled in Boston. Like, it's not really, because, like, I'm talking hockey, you know what I mean? I get it, you know what I mean? I get it. But, and the fucking Red Sox went 86 years, so I know, you know what I mean? We kind of know what it's like to be on a drought. But I was happy for you guys, though, because God damn it, man. Boston, we had just been, every time we faced St. Louis and everything, it was just like another, there we go again. I mean, St. Louis must have been like, fucking Boston again? Are you fucking kidding us? And you...
Oh, yeah, I mean, you guys have owned us just in sports in general for, I don't know, a better part of like 15 years or something like that. I mean, those
20
two World Series were...
20, man. You got to go back to go back to the 01 Pats and Rams. That was the first Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love that.
That was that was, and you guys had won the Super Bowl the year before that, the Rams did, and
yeah, that was our only one for St. Louis, at least.
Then they were people thought back-to-back for sure, and it was close. It was about to go in overtime, and it was like the millionth time the Patriots almost went into overtime to break that record or whatever, and they finally did. Can you believe that? It was weird. They were like, the Super Bowl's never gone in overtime, and here they are with 0.1 seconds on the clock or whatever, and they kick a 40-something yard field goal. And then the Patriots would have multiple other times where they ended the game at the very end of the game to not go into overtime and then eventually go into overtime. But anyway, let's not talk about the goddamn fucking Patriots. The St. Louis Blues just won the fucking cup. So what's the feeling down there?
Oh, man, people are still partying. Like, I mean, I couldn't go. Unfortunately, I couldn't hit up the parade because I had to work. But I mean, they're saying that, you know, that's the biggest turnout for any parade in a long time for just, I guess, any sport really. But I mean, you know, I'm just so happy that they finally got their first one. Like, it's been a long time coming. Especially, you know, the older generations, man, they've been waiting forever. So, you know, they deserve it the most, I think. But I mean, the Bruins, man, I feel like they've owned St. Louis too, just, you know, in the regular season, and you know, they've had our number. But I'm just I'm just happy we finally got at you guys for once.
I don't think you guys have had really strong teams over the last long time. Like, you've had finesse teams a lot of times. This team that you had this year kind of reminded me of the Bruins teams from like 2011. Like, they were more well-rounded, but also tougher and bigger. They were like, it's weird because as soon as the NHL changed, the Bruins were like, okay, the NHL is changing. Let's get rid of all our fighter guys and everything. And it felt like you guys beat us kind of like how we beat Vancouver in 2011. I was like, it was like weird because I was watching the Blues and I was like, how come we couldn't have a team like the Blues? Because, you know, the NHL changed and everything, but the Blues are able to do this, so why can't we do it? And the Bruins, honestly, dude, as much as I love the Bruins team this year and everything, they play this sort of like, they go down and they sort of try to do something fancy and almost score, but then once they miss that, then they're on the counter for a little bit, and it's just very weird. They played like the Montreal Canadiens, and the Bruins relied on drawing a penalty so they could score on the power play, and yeah, it was just weird. The Bruins team was bizarre, but it was very close, and I'm just glad you guys are happy, and I was mad that night, obviously, but I was more mad because I wish it was like 3-4, or like, you know, it had gone to overtime and we lost, or whatever. I would have taken that. But just to see, like, us come out with fire at the beginning, not be able to score, and then just a garbage shit goes in on us, and then you guys started scoring for real, it was just like, well, this is over, because holy shit. So it was...
y'all outplayed us in the first period, and then we got those 2 goals out of nowhere. I'm just like, oh, this shit is crazy. Like,
yeah,
but I mean, you know,
that goalie, man, I'm telling you, Binnington, even though he didn't, I don't think he was the greatest thing. He was like a 7 out of 10. He played a fucking 10 out of 10 in that game. That was a fucking 10 out of 10 performance.
Yeah, that's kind of their story of the season. Like, you know, they lose one game, and then especially on the road, they just come back and, you know, dominate the next one. And
well, that's the weird thing is, like, the Bruins are doing that too. They go over to you guys 7-2, 5-1. They come home and they. It was like
man.
It was almost like
as hell.
I almost wanted to play in St. Louis. I was like, dude, just don't go home. No, fuck. Play in St. Louis. Hey, Devious Dave Rose, what up, Mr. Rose?
Good afternoon, Mr. Cronin. It's everyone's favorite flip-flopping clout chaser. Despise me.
Can you hear that? You hear that sound effect?
No.
Oh, man, I played your legendary despise me sound effect. God damn it. Well, anyway, yes, you're the clout chaser, of course.
Thanks, Skype.
Well, I mean, you are everywhere. I mean, come on. Right?
I'm a hot commodity. What can I say? But one thing can be said. I call everyone out, no matter who they are.
Well, yeah, that's true. And you know what, Scott? I found him first.
I already said I'm a Joe guy. I said that actually on Ken's show. Also, thank you for giving me more information about the Trump connection with his uncle and Tesla.
Oh my God, I heard that.
I'm blown away. I mean, I'm totally blown away at the fact that I did not know this.
I am blown away.
I try to learn as much about Tesla as possible, and this was something that clearly eluded me.
Dude,
I mean, that's incredible.
I was shocked to find out you did not know that, because I was like, oh my God. I spent one night trying to tell Leah about this, and she wanted to kill me. But I was like, you don't understand how weird this is. And I was like, and you hate Trump, so you should like this, because it's kind of like, he's kind of like the bad guy. And it's like, there's like stuff about how he got in there first, and money that he might have, how much money he paid someone to be in there, because, you know what I mean? If you know that the fucking Hope Diamond is in a draw in somebody's fucking laboratory, and I'm just using this as an example. That's not the case with this. This was bigger than the Hope Diamond. This was knowledge and technology that could change the world. If you knew that was in somebody's laboratory, and other people just looked at it like, oh, he's a scientist guy, he's got whatever, he's a creator, whatever, but you know that stuff is in there. You would give somebody, if you were if you were a rich person, you'd be like, dude, here's $1 million. Let me in first so I can get the stuff I need to get. Just here's $1 million before anybody gets in. So, and I'm not saying that's how it went down, but when you look it up, you'll see there's some things like that written. But there's a lot of contradicting stuff. You're gonna go down a fucking rabbit hole, bro, when you go look up.
Because I was already aware of the claims that Trump might be a time traveler, and these books being written literally 100 years ago that used his name, used his kid's name. So I was already aware that there was a time travel component in the absolute, extremes of conspiracy theories, which I still don't agree with that term. But that being said, I'm just blown away that there's this connection, because it really does line things up in a certain way. There's a lot that could be speculated, but it is very intriguing. And I'm giddy like a school girl, to be quite honest, because this is something I don't know about, that I've just started looking into, and there's literally thousands of articles on the internet that I'm going to spend my time now to read them all and start to chase the rabbit and look for those details. So I'm very, very happy that I was being exposed to this information. And again, I never claim to be a better person because I have a larger vocabulary, because I don't know everything, and nobody does. But the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know, and the more opportunity you have to chase this information to learn the truth. So I'm raring to go. But to redirect this conversation more to, I guess, the purpose that you initially started with WWE ticket sales, do you know what's going on in regards to SummerSlam in Toronto in August? Do you know those numbers yet?
Ooh, that's a great point. I don't know the Toronto numbers, but here's the thing. When you say Toronto, immediately it's like, well, that's going to sell almost out, if not out, because it's...
NXT is a guarantee, just like last time. That show's going to be a fucking explosion of talent.
And it's not because you're like, oh, SummerSlam, blah, blah, blah. It's not that. It's really a lot of things. It's not only is it SummerSlam, but it's taking place in Canada and in Toronto, so you're going to get, like, people that aren't even watching the product now buying tickets. Like, everybody and their mother, people from all over Canada even. Like,
it's very much like the UK, where when you deprive them, their market, of these shows, when they do finally show up, it's almost a guaranteed sellout, because people are craving for that and they don't get enough of it.
Right. In fact, oh my, what? Whoa, get out of here! Ah! I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Fuck, I thought a raccoon just got into your house.
Yeah, you probably couldn't hear. I just played gun sound effects. No, you're right, and that's why. So it's kind of like when you say that. Like, I'm sure the numbers are slower than usual. I'm sure everything is slower. I'm sure that's something WWE could see. What the fuck is
we got
this?
people in the chat saying SummerSlam is sold out already.
Okay, there you go. And
Aaron J's fan. What I'm wondering is that the SummerSlam event or is that the NXT event?
Oh, I'm sure it's the. It's got to be NXT.
Joe, I've been noticing this all day. Sort of interrupt, but you've got the watch here, full here, view, whatever on the chat. I've seen this in multiple chats throughout the day today on YouTube.
Yeah.
There must be a massive hack because they're spamming your chat with, I don't know, terrorist sort of speak.
They've been in here. They've been in here for weeks. Like, I mean, weeks.
Today I literally watched 3 live videos, and they were all in there.
Oh, really? Fuck, dude, I've been saying this, Dave. These fucking spamming channels, whatever the fuck, they're in here every time I'm streaming, and there's hundreds of them, and we're deleting and banning them, and I'm like, dude, why is this happening? Like, I've never seen an attack like that. So you're right, it's all across the platform?
Today, at least, I saw 3, like, yours is the 3rd video that I've seen these comments just be spammed.
Wow.
And it's the same name.
It's probably like it's probably some news media company trying to get like what they're saying and like take screenshots of all these channels and being like, the hate in the chats it's toxic.
But don't you dare show you faking eating a Tide Pod.
Yeah, don't eat a Tide Pod or you're in trouble. Now I'm gonna mute you guys real quick because I want to trigger the sounds for you because I've got a video that I haven't seen yet, but someone just alerted me that Tommy uploaded a pretty weird video. So
sounds good.
Hang in there a second, and Dave, you can hear me now, right?
You piece of shit.
Can you hear the sounds?
No.
Fuck. Well, let me try again.
You piece of shit.
You goddamn piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
You piece of shit.
Cupcake. Oh, yes. Oh, the booty booty. Oh, thank you so.
Wow. I'm telling you, man. I thought taking a break from the channels. I thought Tommy taking a break from my show here on the Joe Cronin Show. God, we've known Tommy here for so many years. I thought taking a break would really set this guy would set him up. He'd be like feeling a lot better about shit. But he just uploaded this video. I love you, Cupcake. Oh my god, dude.
You piece of shit.
You hear them now, Dave? Shit.
Sadly not.
Hey, Rambo.
Yes, sir.
Say something to Dave. Just talk to each other for a second, and that will trigger the sounds for you guys. I bet.
Despise me. Despise me.
You piece of shit.
Such a cute cupcake. Oh, yes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, thank you so much. I love you, too.
The fight.
But don't eat me. Oh, and that's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to eat
piece
you.
of shit.
Ugh, what a fat piece of shit.
I love you.
God, he's a fucking disgusting mess. Like, can you hear this, Dave?
No.
Oh, well, you get the idea, though.
Yeah, I'm watching the stream as well. Yeah, Tommy, here's the thing. Yeah, I've had my disagreements with Tommy, but I've always said the same thing. I'm Mr. Consistent. I want to see the best for him. I want to see him healthy. If you look at this guy's photos from 10 years ago, he's a handsome lad. He's actually thin. He has a neck, and
he has
so much potential. But, and I don't want to be mean and stuff, but quite honestly, I fear for the guy's health. If you take a look at the video where he met his biological mother, who, and to be quite honest, I did tear up during that video.
But she ate the whole place.
His suit is a little too tight, I would think, and you can see his neck just bulge over the collar. And I'm not saying that to make fun of the guy. I'm saying that because I want to see this guy at a slimmer weight, at a healthier condition, because I honestly, regardless of what issues people have with Tommy, his heart is in the right place. His head might be up his ass, but his heart is in the right place. And I don't want to see anything bad happen to the guy, and I want to see him get better. And it does, like you, it does bother me to see this guy just totally pigging out on these really bad fast foods when he could be eating healthy and learning how to keep himself in a healthy condition. I mean, what happens when this guy's like 50 years old? He has to cut his leg off because of diabetes. He can only roll around in a scooter.
Yeah.
How old is Tommy?
28.
28. Oh man, he's still young. I mean, he has time to get his health on track.
Might be 26
before anything gets really bad.
Yeah, no, he does. I mean, that's the thing. But I've just done it for so many years. I've told him and he don't listen. So I'm like, oh, whatever. It's like an alcoholic friend or something.
It is very much. And eating is actually a way to sort of compensate for certain psychological issues as well. And whatever those are, I think Tommy should have them checked out, that he should really work towards trying to living a better, healthy lifestyle, because the garbage that he eats is going to leave him in an early grave. And I've got to object to that. I've got to, say my point. He might not listen, but I've got to.
Do you really think, though?
Because nobody else wants to. Or, sorry, very few. You have, Joe. Ken has. Many other people have. But I guess those in his life that actually have impact aren't saying it sufficiently.
Yeah, but do you really think that, he's going to do anything? Because, or do you think it's going to make any difference? I'm just looking at his mom, the picture of him and his mom here. I'm trying to be mean. I'm just saying, look at them.
Well, here's another thing, though, is that she had to deal with a traumatic incident as well. And if you take a look at the picture where she was holding Tommy as a baby, basically after she was born, she was a little overweight, but she wasn't in her current state. It's not genetics in this case. It's bad eating habits.
Really? So you don't think that her...
If you look back at the documentary, you'll see her basically holding Tommy the day that he was born. Now, is she chubby? Yeah. Is she overweight in the state that she's currently in with Tommy in that photo? She is not.
What?
America has way too many fast food stores that give way too much quantity, and the saturated fats and the sugars lead to this obesity. And when Tommy isn't paying attention to this sort of thing, he is going to go in that direction. People have to point this stuff out to him, unfortunately, and they've got to sort of fight sometimes with the guy just to make him understand.
Well, here's more of Tommy's video here. Let me see if I can still get these sounds to play. Let me just mute you again, guys, and see if we can get this to work. I'd like you to be able to hear his disgustingness.
You piece of shit.
I love you too. But don't eat me. Oh, and that's what I'm gonna do to you. I'm gonna eat you up. I love you.
I just wrote that, Tommy, you're gonna die. Ugh. Oh, God.
Like, fact, subscribe, support.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh my God, dude! What the fuck? Can you hear this, Dave? Can you hear it yet?
No.
Oh my God, man! Why isn't it working?
It actually interrupts when you speak when you're playing that, but we don't hear anything.
I'll keep trying because you got to hear this maniacal laugh.
That's fine. No, but just again the fact that he's laughing maniacally and his mouth just looks like he literally sucked off a Smurf.
Support.
It's concerning to say the least. I'm worrying now to hear the audio because he keeps pointing the camera, keeps laughing. God damn it, Tommy.
I love you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, listen to that fucking noise. Listen to the fucking... Oh my God! Oh!
Eat you up.
You piece of shit.
Ugh. Wow. What the fuck? Oh my God, dude.
You piece of shit.
Oh my God. All right, well. But I don't know, man.
If he dedicated that much of effort in making love than he does, in eating food, he'd lose weight and become much cooler.
I agree. And here's the other thing about this. You know, he was the other day. He was like, I'm not going to be on the shows anymore for a little while or whatever. I'm taking a break and everything. And because he's like, I don't want to be made fun of anymore. I'm really sick of that or whatever, or any jokes or anything. And then he goes and uploads a video where he stuffs his fucking fat face with a muffin or a cupcake. You know what I mean? So like, what?
But you're asking for it. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I don't. You want everybody not to do that, and then you do that? Did you end up hearing the sound at all, Dave, or no?
No.
God damn it! What's wrong with Skype today? Like, it's extra fucked. Other days, it's like, boom, it just works. Anyway, Barracuda, what up, man?
Hey, what's up, Joe? Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay, whatever. We're good. What else is up?
I have to switch to my phone.
Barracuda.
I wish I was going to play all these weird sounds to Tommy, but while I do, let me play these donations real quick because they've been waiting here for a second. Maybe that will cue up the sounds for everybody.
Give me a hell yeah!
The Goon!
I could get Tommy lose weight. I dropped 20 pounds in 4 months. The key is no fried food and limit your daily caloric intake.
Yeah.
Also, Dave, you mentioned Trump not aging. Aren't there electric skin therapy to stabilize your skin cells and slow down deterioration?
Well, that's a good point. Electrical therapy to the skin. That's very true, Goon. I'm hoping Dave heard that. If he didn't, I'll repeat it to him.
You piece of shit.
Super chat party.
Mr. Spaz Phoenix.
I just got here. Fuck Naomi, fuck trashy skanks.
Yeah, fuck him, I mean, I guess. Spaz Phoenix doesn't like the women. Look out. Thank you, Spaz Phoenix, and thanks to everybody for the big donation drop earlier. That was pretty great. Hold on, Leah's knocking on my door. I have to let Leah in. Hang on a minute. God damn it. How about you hear anything now?
No.
Got nothing.
Fuck it.
Can I talk? While you go open the door for Leah?
Yeah, go ahead and talk. I'll be right there.
Come
on in,
whore. In regards to what was just said, let me just rewind this so I can properly quote it. It was a donation from the Goon saying, also, Dave, you mentioned Trump not aging. Aren't there electric skin therapy to stabilize your skin cells and slow down deterioration? That's one of many techniques. There's gene therapy. There's the use of stem cells. There's adrenochrome. There's a lot of different, if you want to look at that, look at Hillary Clinton during her campaign, where at certain points you would see her and she would look like a fucking skeleton. And a few days later, after a little trip to Epstein's Island or another location, she would look super young again. And that does definitely come from some sort of external source. But with Trump, you've actually never seen a photo of this guy in an equivalent state with like Hillary Clinton, where some days looks, well under their age, and other days looks like their death. You've never seen that with Trump. There's a lot of technologies that are made out there to delay aging. There's something that's now public, although many people like myself knew this was already available for decades, is that they're basically taking the blood of young people, usually legally right now it's 18 or over. These people then get a transfusion from this young blood, and it's a huge rage in Hollywood. It's a big deal, and it's talked in their circles, but it's not really on headlines or anything. But that just goes to build on something that many people have known for a long time, is that the cells contained therein of young blood and other fetal tissue does allow for the slowness of, or the slowing of aging in people. There's a lot of different technologies available, and I can't count out your theory, but to be quite honest, I've never seen Trump look as bad as Hillary did on her down days, if you want to
also, why does, the other thing about Trump is, dude, the guy, dyes his fucking face and skin orange. He looks stupid. So if you're trying to look...
He does that fake tanning, I guess. And
spray,
I guess he also does a lot of the tanning booths and stuff, because the spray you use on those also sort of colors your skin.
Now, I have Leah here. Next
I'd rather
to me,
look orange than look fucking like Hillary Clinton. I'll be honest with that.
That's true. Leah, are you trying to make me horny or something?
What?
I don't know. But no, so Leah's here, and you came down here because of Dave.
Dave, I messaged you. I don't know if it was. I'm hoping it was Dave now.
Message me?
Yeah, on Facebook.
Oh, great! Now
Facebook?
she's trying to whore with you.
Well, no, because I read the blog thing and I thought it was interesting, and the IQ. With the IQ.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow, you're on top of that blog. I'm surprised that JB actually has active readers.
It's only us. It's like the fucking 8 of us.
No, actually, Leah, I do not see a message. It must have been someone else, but no, I do not see a message from you. No, but I'm
dead on Dave.
Anytime we got Leah to discuss something with Dave Rose,
no,
there's something going to happen. So please go ahead.
Oh well, I got curious, so I went and got mine out, and I realized that they said they didn't even give me a score because they said my unique set of thinking and reasoning abilities make her overall intellectual functioning difficult to summarize by a single score.
Yep, absolutely.
But I can tell you all the individual. Well, this is what diagnosed my learning disability. But I can tell you all the individual scores they gave me. And I guess that's because there's such a...
So you were assessed with a learning disability?
Because of this. Yeah, that's what this is the reason they assessed me.
Fucking idiot teachers can't understand genius when they see it.
The reason they assessed me...
It's a mathematical disability, though.
Well...
I can attest to this. The minute I bring up math, she gets furious.
How it breaks down is that it's my verbal reasoning abilities are in the average range, but my nonverbal reasoning abilities are in the very superior range.
Would that be considered spatial understandings or other logical?
It kind of I think it falls into just about every category, and this is what I have a problem when I try to debate with people. My brain runs about 5,000 times faster than my mouth can, so there's a disconnect. But all of my scores are either average or very superior. But they did the 2 ranges, so it's her verbal reasoning abilities are in the average range and above those approximately 66% of her peers. And the score they gave it was 106. Her nonverbal reasoning abilities are in the very superior range and better than those of approximately 98% of her peers, and they gave that a 131.
At what age do you remember? Do you remember? Does it say what age it was assessed?
Yeah, I was 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you were younger, right? You said you were younger.
I was 9.
Yeah.
When that happened.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Basically, I was reading it. The whole thing boils down to I'm. Oh, here's the summary actually.
Mine says almost retarded.
It says Leah's reasoning abilities on verbal tasks are generally average, with a 106, while her nonverbal reasoning abilities are significantly higher and in the very superior range, 131. The 25-point difference between these two realms is statistically significant of a learning disability.
What?
So you're almost autistic.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I think you should retest yourself now.
It's the way that the lady actually... The way the lady actually told me in school was she said that things naturally come easily to me. And when they don't, it's almost like my brain just stops trying. It doesn't retain the information.
Like politics.
What aspects of your abilities were they able to assess were highly superior? Was it geometry? Was it other certain sciences? Because you're referring that verbal is above average, but you're saying that the other skills are much more advanced. And I'm curious as to, was it spatial knowledge? Was it what was it specifically that made them does it say at all as to what made them assess that you were highly superior in that?
Let me see.
It's got to be your engineering, the spatial relations and stuff, because you're so good at that. It's if there was
you build well, you can build things.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes. Yeah.
I work well. I can build things. I can visualize things.
You know what's a good way to assess this is actually something that is used.
If there was a complicated knot.
It is used. How are you in regards to flying a video game based spacecraft?
I can do it, but it has to be in non-inverted.
No, but apart from that, though, is it like are you able to anticipate changes in spatial conditions and such, like visual type things, or is it more abstract intelligence that you're referring to? You know, sometimes like puzzles, for example, require you to like logic puzzles and stuff. Those are different from than spatial puzzles.
She's better at that. If you're talking about like if you had to like
Yeah, but I did the spatial puzzle like when I went for the electrical testing to do the union, you have to do spatial relation type testing with that.
You've also never been in a car accident.
How'd you do?
Well, I did very well with that. It was the math that I had a problem with.
You've never been in a car accident either.
But that's the thing, though. Yes, the math, could be required, but if you understand, the spatial relations and that aspect of the science, then the math kind of can be put to a side because you already have that the visual understandings of that sort of topic. So. Again, like there's so many different tests out there, and video games actually are a fairly good test in certain things in regards to assessing intelligence.
I mean, I'm really good at games.
No, but even simple games, like whether it be a puzzle game, like a Mario game, even like a space flight game, those are very useful in regarding assessing specific types of intelligence. You have verbal intelligence, nonverbal intelligence, spatial intelligence, linear intelligence. So there's a lot of different things, but I'm curious, did they give you sorry, go ahead.
I have there's multiple different scores on here for different things that they tested, and it's because they did it like verbally and non-verbally, and almost every single time there was a huge discrepancy between my verbal and my non-verbal, like on each of them, like processing
sorry,
well, I mean just like processing visual material, like I had a 129 on that. What was the other one? I don't know, but pretty much all of them too. Like they say, like I'm higher than most people, even the ones I'm low on.
If their assessment is that your verbal is lower than your nonverbal, then it also goes to show that you don't necessarily need a lot of words to understand a certain topic, that you can basically become enveloped in it and understand it without the requirement of needing a briefing and that sort of thing.
One of the things that I know, like, and I don't know if this is part of it, but one of the things that I know used to drive them crazy in math was that they would give me a math problem and I would find a way to the answer, but it wasn't the way they wanted.
I love that.
Yeah.
They get mad with that when you don't do that.
I did it all the time, and they got pissed off at me all the time.
They need you to follow their linear set of rules, but if you can come up with a different way to get to the solution, they don't like it because you're not following the rules. Like, again, school has become an indoctrination center. You have to think the way we tell you to think, not just figure it out, and if you got it right, then you're right.
Yeah.
But Lee, I'm curious, did they provide this information to you as a child? Like when you graduated, like they say, okay, well, here's your record? How did you get this information?
They had the testing done because when I moved in the city that I used to live in up until 10th grade, they basically didn't give a shit. If you weren't doing well, they just put you in a dumber class. But then when I moved to we moved in 10th grade and we moved to a small town, and they noticed that there was something wrong. So they were like, all right, I was acing everything else. Everything else, I had no problem in. And I was skipping a ton of school and stuff at the time too because I didn't want to be here, and I would still go in and ace all their tests. So then, except for math.
Nice.
Huh?
No, nice that you'd ace their tests without even having to worry about, going through the motions.
Actually, in going into 11th grade, they wanted to hold me back, and because they said I'd missed too many days, and a few of my teachers actually made the argument. They're like, what's the point in holding her back? We've got all her test scores here, and they're good. So they actually made the argument to put me forward into 11th grade, and that's why I got to go to 11th grade.
It's kind of like, that's literally the opposite of what they did with Tommy, where they said, well, you know what? He can't read, so you get a diploma.
That's actually insulting, but
it was
Lee, I want to tell you that the reason I'm asking as how you got this is that technically I should never have gotten this information in the first place. Like, they would not, like, I called up. I think I was 19. I was about to graduate. I wanted to see this information. They refused to give it to me. I ended up utilizing a little social engineering that I learned to call up and falsely represent my own psychologist that required this information. And I was able to convince them to send me by mail that file, which I scanned and then, you know, put up. And obviously that was a while ago, but that's like, they would not give it to me normally. I had to make it work in my favor, and that just blows my mind, because it's like, why would this information not be available to someone, especially at a young age, you know, not to inflate their ego, but to see, okay, well, if these are their strengths and their weaknesses, how can we, you know, improve them and make them better? And I had to trick the school system into giving me that information, which belongs to me anyways. They're my fucking employees. I'm a taxpayer, and they should have given it to me, and I had to trick them to do so.
Mine was just given to my mom. And then when she was like moving out of that house and I was moving here and everything else, she found all my paperwork and gave it to me. I actually only got this information like, I don't know, a couple months ago, 6 months ago maybe.
How do I put you on camera, Lee?
Really? Like, this information you're talking about, you just got 6 months ago?
No, I mean, I knew I was always told my IQ was slightly higher than everybody else's. That I knew. They told me that after they did the testing, and they told me about my learning disability, that sort of stuff. But I'd never actually read the paperwork written out about me until a couple months ago.
Okay. Because, you know what? Again, like, I'm sure that you can tell this as well, and I think this whole, like, bullshit of, like, oh, learning, you know, disability, whatever, you know, it just goes to show the system is that the school systems are fucked. We know that. There are so many intelligent people in the school systems that are being bogged down by all this garbage and making learning not fun. You know what? I didn't like math until I was probably 17 or something. But once I learned to make it appealing to once I realized how to make it appealing, how to learn from it, I had to teach that to myself. Then it became fucking like the Matrix. Like, I can see everything. I can figure everything out. It's just a matter of knowing these equations here and there, and I can build a fucking bridge if I want. Like, and it blew me away because math really is fun. But the problem is teachers from every level make learning not fun.
Yeah, that is a huge problem.
Yeah, they just go, like, they read the book. They go through the book, and they're like, oh, this is the step 2, now lesson 3, and that's all you know.
It's like, I used to love certain classes, or I just, like, I'll sit there and, like, I'll get, like, lost in, like, reading crap online. Like, just even stuff, like, usually it's, like, boring ancient history stuff that people are, like, hate, but I love it.
It's not boring.
I'm not surprised you said that, but usually I say that and people are like, what? Like, it's like, I could read about, like,
yeah,
Egypt
the glazed over eyes.
Yeah, I could read about, like, ancient history all fucking day.
Lee, you're getting wet from Dave? Someone in the chat said that.
Oh.
I'll let you know later.
Did we just become best friends?
We might have.
Yeah, like yesterday, you were like, you're just repeating Dave Rose shit.
You were, though.
I wasn't.
Because I asked you where you heard it, and it was Dave Rose. So
no, it wasn't, though.
I wasn't wrong.
It really wasn't, though. I didn't hear it from him. That's the whole thing. It was my opinion.
But anyway, stuff like that, I absorb all of it.
All right, Troy, too?
I absorb all of it, though. And, like,
I've noticed that you're very good at absorbing information, like the Game of Thrones, like, well, the Song of Ice and Fire, like the details in all those books, like, you're able to recall like nobody's business. And, like,
and it's
to me, it's overwhelming. Those families alone is too hard to keep track of.
Yeah, like, I mean, I love doing that stuff. Like, I can keep track of, like, and I'll look into families. Like, that's something I like doing, too. Like, following back, like, ancient Egyptian families, or following back, like, recently I've been doing more of, you know, like, Henry VIII's family line, and following them back, and you realize just how inbred the whole fucking country, like, the whole, like, everything over there is. Everybody's a cousin of somebody over there. But, following it back, but it's like, no, I'm not joking. But
everybody did that, though. The Mongoloids over in Asia did it.
But I was following it through, like, you know, past the War of the Roses and everything else. And so, like, I can sit there and read all of that, and I don't know, because I'm interested in it, I absorb it. But because they always made math so, like, rigid and strict, and you have to do it this way, and you can only do it this way and stuff, that it was, like, it became boring, uninteresting, and I didn't retain it.
Mm.
I'm sure that was a big part of it.
No, absolutely. And the thing is, though, if they were only able to translate that properly to students that wanted to be, say, car mechanics, it would have just done so much for kids in regards to understanding this knowledge and applying it to a skill that might not require a university degree, but is, quite honestly, probably a lot better. And by that understanding of how the mathematics works in a vehicle, for example, on how a piston moves and how to make it more efficient, it could have led to so many kids taking up that trade and many others to not get indebted for $100,000 to go get a degree that's worthless.
Well, doing things a better or in different way kind of falls into the whole Tesla thing from earlier. It goes into everything that guy might have done.
I knew I never would do well with any sort of college type education. I am mechanically brained. I can take apart an engine and put it back together. I can fix a lot of things, and I can figure out how things work. That's just how my brain works. But I don't know,
And that's intelligence. It's not the regurgitation of information. Yeah, you can do that and have some aspect of that intelligence, but again, you can have as many books, as many computer files as you want. Unless you can apply that in the physical terms, don't mean shit.
Yeah.
And that's the same with a degree. Yeah, you can have a drama degree, but if you can't actually do something of effort, of value, what's it worth? It's toilet paper.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, let me know if you hear this sound.
You
I hear it.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, I know, Leah, you can hear
I heard it.
You did?
Yep.
You guys heard
You
it?
piece of shit.
Wow. All right, shit.
You piece of shit.
All right, well, I better get up and check on the kids. But
okay.
I don't know, I thought it was interesting.
I was going to play the donations. You want to stay or you want to go?
Huh?
I was going to play the donations. Do you want to stay or go?
What should I do?
Whatever you want. Oh,
I want to check on the kids because I've been down here for quite a bit now, and I just want to make sure they're okay.
They're painting the walls upstairs.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, no, that's cool.
All right,
you don't have to stay for that.
Yeah. I will talk to you guys later then.
All right. Leah, who I'm staring at right now, she's looking sweaty.
Nice talking to you, Leah. Sorry I had myself.
Yeah, but you're doing that glowing thing where you're sweating and glowing, which is wicked hot.
I'm just sweaty.
Yeah, but it's hot to me. I don't know, your skin's glistening and stuff, and you get the
she's
shorts.
not pregnant, is she?
No, she's not. Not pregnant.
I don't mean to give you a heart attack or anything.
No, I don't think.
I've been cleaning and it's hot as shit.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. That's the whole thing. I don't know. You look like you. You remember remember Ninja Turtles where April is on the farmhouse and she's kind of like that, sweating and chopping food or something with Jones. She's got that. She's glistening in that scene. That's what Leah looks like to me right now. That's just what you look like to me. I don't know. Fucking maybe not anybody else, but to me it's oh.
Super
Deftones.
Party.
Make Tommy Cupcake laugh a new donation face with tears of joy.
I might dig Deftones. Deftones, thanks, man.
Oh, no.
It was good to talk to Leah, though. Have her come in here. She came down here with her whole fucking thing rolled up. She clearly read that article and then went out and grabbed her thing and was thinking about everything. So there you go, man. Look out. It's book club, man, with Dave and Leah. It's coming.
Thank you so much. I love you, too. But don't eat me. Oh, and that's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to eat you up.
Okay, now that I've heard that, it's even more horrific than I could even imagine.
What the fuck?
Dude.
I can see him doing the exact same thing with a Pomeranian.
Dude, he was like, I'm not coming on the shows because I don't want to get made fun of, then does this. Super
Wow.
ASMR.
ASMR? Oh, what, from Leah? Andale Peasy, what up, man?
Hey, baby girl.
Oh, maybe he might be talking about Tommy, actually. Super J. Super J.
My mouth is good and I read grape.
Just incredible. Thank you, Just Incredible. I'm glad that you read great. You're always great when you read great. Good time, great, good, muff. Yeah. We got more coming in.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't get it either.
Fucking table.
Fucking Tommy. This is the worst.
Oh my God, Tommy.
Yeah, but it's funny though how Leah turns. I gotta give it up for her because I remember when. Do you remember? Well, I feel like Leah hated everybody at some point. Like, remember she hated Bailey, like really hated Bailey. Like she was like,
She did.
no. And then they became like really cool.
They're besties now.
Yeah, and she didn't like you a couple times, but I mean that was mostly because of me.
Well, no.
And you.
That's also because of me, because you can't blame her.
But I mean, like she was fighting with me today about stuff. Like I was telling her, I don't want to turn the topic. I'm not turning the topic politics. I'm just saying we got in a little argument because she was saying like the worst Republicans killed more people than Democrats and they're horrible or something like that. And I was like, I don't know. They're kind of like, to me, they're just like Republicans are like, let's go to war. We're going to war. Fuck you, everyone. We're going to war. And then we're going to lie to you about why we're going. But the Democrats will tell you that we're not going to war because we're so peaceful. But in the meanwhile, in the background, blow up shit. When no, you know what I mean? Like kind of like secretively. I don't know. So like to me, it's like the same horrible and just different. Yeah, but it was JFK that allowed for the Vietnam War to start, and he was a Democrat. Yeah, well, that too. But it's just, I mean, so we got in a fight.
Both
and so,
sides are guilty. But I find it funny because you just mentioned earlier, but this is the second time already where you say something, nothing to do with me, and she said, "Yeah, that's." Like
she's
Dave
obsessed
Rose,
with you.
Told you to say that or something, right?
Yeah, she did.
I've no, that had nothing to do with Rose.
Anytime I say anything about and that's not even a right-wing thing. It was like literally an independent down the middle thing that I said both parties suck and here's why. And then, Dave Rose, oh, you've been listening to Dave Rose again. What? Haven't talked to him all day or yesterday. I just said this. Like I don't.
But I do find it funny because I have sort of set a precedent for myself. So when you do say something, people do go to the obvious and say that must have been something that Dave Rose said.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Really, JB and Leah don't talk that much. People are always like, it's funny. Once in a while.
Didn't she relegate him to like loser status in World of Warcraft? Clan or whatever they're part of.
Yeah, she took him off the fucking thing because he's never on. He gave her back all the gold. Well, she goes, oh, he's giving me gold because he's not going to play anymore. And I'm like, well, after all these months, he finally says he's not going to play. It's been like 7 months, but and then she told me that she basically got him the gold in the first place anyway. And I was like, oh, well, then he's just giving you back what he should have given you back. I don't know.
Yeah, he's paying his debts.
There's Leah's disability. She thinks everything.
A Bailey always pays his debts. What was that?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, well, no, I was just going to say that's her disability is... I made a joke when she was down here earlier, and I said politics is your disability. That's so fucked up, but it was... she's smarter than me, though, no doubt. I mean, that's why...
But see, you know what? Leah, although she's insulted me and used ad hominems and stuff during certain debates, she's never done what Troy's done.
Here she comes.
Yeah, she's never basically dismissed my opinion outright. She said, you're wrong, and here's my reason for believing it.
Cool.
As opposed to Troy, who's like, you're wrong, and I don't have to prove why I'm right. There's a huge difference between the two.
Take my place of this. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I don't know. She's pretty cool. You? Me? Yeah. Somebody called you a whore in the chat. I'm just kidding. What's going on? How are the kids? Did they draw on the walls?
No, they're outside bombing around on the...
Oh, the Power Wheel? That's even scarier, to be honest. Well, I think, but...
What's the weather like in Boston right now?
What is it, like 78 right now?
What, outside?
Yeah. Probably. It was, dude, last week it was supposed to be 92.
It's only 70 here.
But, dude, it said 92 5 days ago. And I was telling Brenna since 5 days ago, I was like... So we're going to have the slip and slide out. We're going to get the water balloons. Like, it's going to be crazy. And she's like, all right, because it was 75 and stuff. And I was like, come on, wait till the 91 day. It's going to be nuts. And then today comes along, and it's like 78 and 82. And I was like, oh, what the fuck happened in 91? But so we whipped out some balloons anyway. And I cleaned up the yard, and we went out, did some shit I had to do. Had fun with the kids. And I watched the rest of Titanic last night, and that was fucking horrible, because that movie gets worse as you get older. I mean, and I don't mean it like it's a bad movie. I know that some people hate it, some people love it. I mean, it gets more depressing, because when you get done watching that movie, I don't know why, but I had a strong urge and feeling about my humanity by the end of the movie, because it was just sad. You know what? I found myself, dude. I mean, sure, some religious people out there gonna fucking have some kind of answer to this when I say this, but I'm not afraid to say this. I found myself like almost in slight despair at the end of the movie, because I don't know why, but I started thinking about this really happened and everything, and I started thinking about all the people that died and everything that happened, and I'm like, why are we here? Why the fuck are we here? And like, if we don't go anywhere after we're dead, or nothing happens after we're dead, which is kind of what I sort of believe but don't want to believe, it's like, that's fucking terrifying and sad. Like, it really is to me. It's not good. It's not good. It's like, really is fucking sad and depressing that if you live your body in your life and then it's over and it sort of just disappears, and that's it. That's all you were. You're like an ant. You're working and you get stepped on and you're dead now and nothing matters. But like, why would the ant not, the ant doesn't ever exist anymore and doesn't go to heaven or something probably. So why would you have a soul as opposed to an ant? What's the difference in a lion or a monkey or you or a dolphin or an ant or somebody more powerful or smarter than humans? So like, to me, it was just like, wow, this is kind of sad, man. So all that came from fucking goddamn Titanic. And by the way, here's my biggest problem with Titanic, Dave. Do you remember Titanic? You remember the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so everybody knows the movie already probably, but...
Joe, I'm gonna call Wednesday. I'm out of nowhere.
All right. Hell yeah, definitely call up. We want to take a lot of calls to the end on Deftones on Out of Nowhere. And if you're a patron, please message me on Patreon with your number. I'll try to get you in there if I can. I don't always get that right, but I'll try. But yeah, Deftones, thank you, man, for the $1.99 too, man. Thanks everybody for the support on this show. We ain't done. I'm just going on a rant about Titanic. And thanks, Deftones. But so the point is, like, at the end of the movie, right? Rose is like, oh, I went on to marry, some other guy, right? So she's with her daughter, and her daughter's like, he's like, I never, when she's the old lady, she's like, I never told your father about him, about Jack or whatever, and whatever happened. And she's like, wow. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, supposedly she dies right in her bed that night, right? The old lady dies, Rose dies, so it's potentially, you're supposed to be seeing her like, I think it's supposed to be you're seeing her like in heaven or something, and they're all waiting for her on the ship or whatever. What happened to her husband?
That's a good point. I've seen many other people bringing up that point online.
Where the fuck is that guy? You spend fucking a couple nights with this fucking Jack guy on a fucking ship. And like, what? And like, oh, you go to heaven and everyone's waiting for you from the ship so he could sit there and be like, hey, Rose, and then kiss her? Where's the fucking guy who married her for 30 years? Where's that poor
James Cameron
cunt?
telling us that women are fickle?
I think so.
What a misogynist.
Well, not to mention that she like cheats on her almost husband basically on the ship.
That's a good point too.
She's a slut.
Be gone, thought.
I mean, she kind of sucks. I mean, when you think in a way, because you can. I mean,
there was more room on that fucking thing for Jack too. She could have easily brought him on.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's more him though. He just like was. I mean, he was retardedly written to like, here, just do everything, Rose. I'll just.
Maybe he just didn't want to have to deal with her nagging anymore.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Fuck this.
Peace, bitch. I'm out.
I owe $5,000 to a loan shark in New York. I'll just be running around America anyway. And besides, I got AIDS from that fucking fat French cunt that I drew a photo of. They didn't even know what AIDS was then, but whatever. He had syphilis. They didn't know what that was. Fucking typhoid fever, something. I don't know.
A lot of people in the chat realize that Rose is a whore. Rose is a cheater. Fucking
yeah. You know what?
People know.
The movie does a good job of kind of not showing her that way, though, in a way, because if you watch the movie, you can get over that. But you are in the back of your mind, you're like, I get why Hockley's pissed, right? You can see why Hockley's mad. This guy, like, devoted to her, and she's like, oh, on this cruise, I'm just going to go fucking hook up with this other guy.
But
Fuck
Hockley,
you.
he's a bad boy.
Yeah, he's the bad boy with no money. Goddamn whore. What? I mean, really, like...
And then at the end, she throws the fucking necklace into the water. Like, lady, you could have, like, fed probably, like, 10,000 homeless with that.
Yeah, she could have donated that.
Unreal.
That drives me nuts. Can you imagine? The only thing that I'm mad about that wasn't in that movie, they should have done this just for a goof. Just for a goof. They should have had Bill Paxton find out that happened and just see his crumble. Because his whole life is searching for the fucking heart of the ocean, diamond or whatever.
You see him actually put a pistol to his head.
He kills himself.
Don't! Bam!
Because of her.
Credits roll.
All because of her. You know, I've been looking for this diamond for a long time, and then she's like,
so
but
basically, Rose would have been responsible for multiple deaths at that point.
Yes. He could have been like, and you know, even though I never found it, so that part of my life will never be complete, but...
Oh my god, I just realized, Titanic isn't a romantic story, it's a story of a serial killer.
Yeah. And maybe if those guys weren't looking at them on the deck...
I got away with it all this time.
Well, those the lookout guys were staring at them for a few minutes while they were making out on the deck. Maybe if they weren't staring at them, they would have been looking for the iceberg. About the theories that that an iceberg isn't what really took out the ship, that it was a fire in the lower deck or in the engine room.
Now that's something I know about.
That's interesting.
I've actually dived really deep into this one and looked into the details.
There's burn marks on the side of the ship as it there's like burn marks on the side of the ship, it looks like, as it takes off, as it leaves port.
You want my quickest assessment of the situation?
Okay.
The sister ship of the Titanic, called the Olympus, actually suffered a very crippling hit in port prior to the sailing of the Titanic. What happened then was a change of names of the ships, because the insurance would not cover the damage, but would cover the ship sinking. What they did was change the names of the ships, sell out the Olympic, which was christened the the Titanic with the false names. It was specifically set up to allow for these fires, which were known to have started prior to the voyage, to continue to burn. They were set up essentially to meet up with a certain ship to allow for the crew to be rescued and the ship to be sunk, and therefore be able to claim the insurance on this. But because the captain aimed off on the wrong course, the ship that was supposed to sail in to save them was too far off course, and took them too long to come in time to be able to save those.
Are you talking about the Carpathia, was like the one that was 4 hours away?
That's one of them, yep. There were several. But that's one of them. That's one of the main ones. I'm glad that you know about this topic. Yeah. And it's very interesting that there are actual photographic evidence of the supposed Titanic on the ocean floor that seem to show the name Olympia on the bow, as opposed to Titanic.
Because it was painted over. It was painted over, but it's worn away, so now it's there and exposed. Is that what I think that's what I'd heard before.
Yeah, it'd been covered over, but it'd been covered over in a very rash and quick manner, which allowed the deposits over it to quickly dissolve once it sank, so that the original name could be seen through that.
Did they ever get a testimony of that?
What's that?
Did they ever get a testimony of that from anybody? Like somebody being like, I saw that happen, I was there, that wasn't the Titanic?
Well, there were because the company did want to, initially the company, sorry?
What?
Okay, I'll speak.
Leah's yelling at me.
What's that?
No, Leah was just yelling at me.
initially the company wanted to claim the insurance on the damage in port, which was refused. Okay, there was a lot of witnesses that night that witnessed that, and due to that, this information already got ingrained into understanding that something was up. But there were people that witnessed this at night, because again, they went in at night to change the name prior to the voyage so that they could convince people that this was the Titanic and not the Olympia. So there are witness reports as well. This is actually, it's amazing how well documented this story is, but nobody talks about it. And the photographic and empirical evidence seems to back up this claim that they just switched the ships, just changed the name, sent this thing out with hopes to sink it so that they could basically claim the insurance on it. They fucked up, and many more people died than should have.
So
that's the summary.
So wait a minute. So it did what the hell role did Bruce Ismay play in this? Was he pushing to have it sped up because he knew about it, or did he knew about this, or was
what position did he?
Okay, so wait a minute.
Was he?
He was sort of like the guy in charge of the press, kind of running the whole thing for the liner, the whoever White Star Line or whatever the name is was the name of the cruise company. So he was the one that wanted to sort of like be in the paper about, wow, like look how fast the ship is. So he didn't know anything about this, I guess, and he's part of the reason, that didn't. At least that's what I read, and then that's what's in the movie. But what's in actual real life, that's the problem. Is sometimes I confuse the book, the movie. The book has nothing to do with the movie, but the book, the movie, and what really happened. Like,
movies are normally propaganda. They're trying to, state the final sort of narrative in history on the topic while using, great cinematography to convince you of that.
Like
but
Captain.
The truth is usually a lot deeper.
They really changed the Captain, like I believe, if I remember right, the movie, like the Captain goes in and just sits there and
Well, think of it this way. If the Captain already knew that they were going to be rescued and they were pulling a hoax, of course he's going to ignore all these warnings about, the sailing and stuff, because he knows, at least according to him, and they're plotting, that they're going to be saved anyways. So he's going to continue on what you think would be an irrational course, which is what everyone up to this point in history has said, oh, he was acting irrationally. But if you realize that he was aware that there was going to be a rescue operation that's supposed to be quick to pick them up, then he would have definitely acted in this manner to ignore the advice and allow the ship to continue to sail under its current conditions.
But that's the one thing that doesn't make sense in a way then too, because the ship sped up and did all these things. Well, shouldn't he have been like, no, we're not doing that, because he knows he needs to be there in time for the Carpathia to get to them? So that
No, but the problem is that their bearings were off. They thought they were much closer to the Carpathian than they were.
Oh.
That's the reason why they did that. They thought they actually they were going to be able to be saved within 20 minutes or something or less, because they thought the ship was closer. So they did these things and eventually realized that the ship was much further than it was, and it was going to cost them a lot more.
Man, imagine that was built into the movie. I mean, you can actually watch the 97. I mean, obviously the 1997 movie is more like fictional than anything, because it's like there's this romance story that's going on, and the Titanic situation is kind of like the background story. Like in the background, the B story is the ship sinking.
That's totally true. The movie is a romance movie, and the Titanic's just the background. Yeah,
and it's like, but even when the captain says, or somebody comes up running out to the captain at some point and says, the Carpathia, says they can be to us in 4 hours. The captain's like, 4 hours, So even though that maybe not the way they intended that scene to come off in the movie, you can still having that knowledge, and if that knowledge were to be factual, you're still able to kind of apply that, like the captain's shocked, but that background, but you'd be shocked anyway if you found out, wow, 4 hours, because I know this ship is going down in the next 30 minutes.
Exactly. When you thought that it was going to be saved in 20 minutes and you'd be able to get all your people off. Now, something that people don't know is the fact that the Federal Reserve Act was essentially enacted soon after the Titanic sank, and there were several opponents of that were sailing over from the that were representatives of these large banks in Europe that were sailing over to America on the Titanic when it sank. These individuals would have been able to vote against the creation of the Federal Reserve. So when you understand who's on the list of passengers of your ship, and you realize that these individuals could interfere with your ability to create a global monetary system, you're definitely going to try to look for a way to make sure it sinks.
Wow. I mean, it was just it's crazy, the people that were on the ship and what happened, and it's so weird. And I don't know, man, like I got to look more into it even more, because I did this years ago with the Titanic. Like, I was so interested in it. The first time I became interested in the Titanic, you know what movie did it for me? It was this is so weird. It was Ghostbusters 2, in that scene where the ghosts are coming out of the Titanic.
Oh yeah.
It was like 1990, and I mean, I'd heard of the Titanic before a little bit, like, oh, the Titanic and the ship sank. You know, that's sort of all you know. You know, Titanic, ship sank. Oh yeah, I've heard that. But when I saw it, and I saw the people coming out of it, and I realized all those people died, and I started thinking about it, it was like terrifying to me. I was like, damn, that's creepy. You know, and I was like probably 8 years old, 9 years old. And that's when I first started like looking it up and asking about it. And I remember my mom bought me a book on the Titanic. But like, even when you read, like, you know, your basic propaganda book or mainstream knowledge book, you know, it had all the stuff that you expect from like this movie and other things. But it didn't have these interesting questions about, you know, the fire, the engine room, what went on there, you know, any of these sort of conspiracies about the whole thing. None of that was there whatsoever in that book that I had. And so it wasn't until the internet years later. And then, of course, people will say, like, oh, the internet, yes, they make up stuff. Just like, but that's not what it is. It's just those books weren't going to print that sort of stuff. They were just printing the top of what, I don't know, the basic information, I guess. But that's how it always happens. But now it's like getting so far away that it's like, how are you going to figure all this shit out now? So many years later. Let me play a donation. Somebody, a couple people dropped in.
10.
He's on the phone with us and he's donating. Rambo mode. Or he might not be on the phone anymore. He is the perfect man for AEW.
My phone lost signal, but appreciate you talking my call, bro. Been here since WM32.
Damn.
Good shit. I'll take a shot of bleach for you tonight.
Fuck yeah. We're all going to have to take shots of bleach if we watch
another
Raw.
OG.
Rambo mode. Yeah.
Yeah, WrestleMania 32 is a long time ago.
What was that, Tommy? Ugh. Disgusting
Super
bastard.
J.
He writes
Super
paragraphs
J.
in the chat.
Check out the Alex Jones child porn news story.
Oh boy.
I know. I'm a little bit aware of that. I could talk about it if you want.
Wait, what the Will Tactics? Thanks for the $1.99. Wait, what the hell's happening?
Okay, basically.
Oh shit! There's another one. One more. One more, baby.
Dave, dueling is legal in Canada now. Look it up.
Is it not?
I'm gonna have to look it up because last time I checked, it wasn't. I really hope that that's true because there's a lot of people that are gonna get theirs. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
I would love to duel somebody at some point.
Oh fuck yeah, baby!
Yeah. Jesus,
by sword or by pistol?
Take it easy for
more
crazy.
than down.
Yeah. Wait.
What was the first question?
What, you want the Wild West? Like, I'll meet you outside.
Hell yeah.
Man, I don't want to.
An armed population is a polite population.
Perhaps.
That's why in Texas you have a lot smaller shooting.
You know, the Romans were armed.
Population than you do in, say, Detroit.
The Romans were armed, you know. How'd that work out?
They built a great empire that was never matched. Moving on.
Where is it?
Don't be trying to use logical fallacies against me.
Where is it? That was fucking great. Come on, you gotta admit, that was good. Where is it? All right, go ahead, Dave.
What was the point before then?
Yo, it was all about Alex
It was a
Jones.
valid point.
Something about porn and Alex Jones.
Oh yes.
Gay
Okay,
porn
so here's the story. What was that?
It was like either child porn or gay porn or something like that.
No, apparently what happened was the FBI apparently even confirmed this. His computers were attacked by some sort of hack, and child porn was put on his computer. And now he's offering a $1 million reward to find who that was.
Wow.
There's a lot of stuff that I disagree with when it comes to Alex Jones. There's some stuff that I do agree with, but some stuff that I don't. And I'm more than willing to be vocal about this. I'm not one of these people that just follow someone because, they're talking the truth or whatever. It's like there's stuff that he talks about that is either false or isn't the full truth and so forth. So I'm willing to call him out on that.
Yeah.
However, the fact is that he is the target of attacks by those that are in control because he's bringing things to the forefront that threaten them. Now, he was already attacked several times. His computers and all that were attacked. This has already been proven.
Mm-hmm.
And now that the FBI has come out and basically confirmed that he was hacked and this child porn was put on his computer, I think it goes to show that he might be talking about certain topics that might be a little bit too dangerous for those that control us, and that's why they're doing these sorts of attacks.
You have to give it to the FBI then, too, because that means that they're not being crooked. The fact that they'll come out and say, we investigated.
At least in this case.
Well,
don't fucking put it all, across the board, because Mueller is a piece of shit.
Yeah, but at least they're, I guess, at least they're maintaining their integrity with this a little bit, or you never know if somebody called him and said, listen, this is a no-win situation. You will go to jail, child porn charges, all these other things. We'll shut you down easily. Now you can take you out. Like, don't do this anymore. And then as soon as he agrees to that, then they come out and say, oh yeah, it was put on his computer. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so they blackmailed him essentially, or whatever. Like, hey, don't talk about this anymore, especially this one thing. No more of this thing, or next time we find, you know what I mean? They could have flipped this on him. That's just, I'm thinking the worst, but if not, then wow, the fact that they actually came out and said, yeah, this was put on your computer, and thank goodness you can tell that. And that obviously something was uploaded into his computer in an unnatural way, and there was a hack, and they can prove it with a computer forensic guy probably. I don't know. So that means that's good news for him and for other people too.
But it's very interesting, especially because again, just because Alex Jones, doesn't always speak the truth or maybe omitting things, whatever the case may be. The guy is a showman. We can't deny that. The guy is there. He's kind of like you. You got to make things sound better, make things sound cool and attractive and, get people involved and interested in it. But that being said, he's also brought on up a lot of good information. We can't deny that. And when he's getting attacked, especially during this time where you have these false flag attacks that are going on in the Gulf of Arabia. Actually, no, sorry, it's the Gulf of Oman.
Right near Iran.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. They're trying to set up Iran for an attack. There are rumors that apparently the United States has a plan to tactically attack Iran. Iran is saying that they're going to start increasing their, uranium enrichment larger than what the international community allows. But these attacks on these tankers in the Strait of Oman clearly are evidence that the deep state is trying to cause a war with Iran.
I wouldn't be, dude. Something is definitely up. Yeah,
and
with
again,
that area.
I never I'm not 100% Trump. I like certain stuff about him. I don't like certain stuff about him. But his certain aspects of his foreign policy, I need to call out and have in the past and have the evidence to back up why it's just terrible. John Bolton as your UN ambassador.
If you have dirty news on Hillary, you could croak.
Blake Roberts, thank you, man.
Actually, 3 police officers so far that investigated Anthony Weiner's laptop and proved that there was child porn on there connected with the Clinton Foundation have committed suicide in the last 2 weeks. There's 2 senators, former senators from Arizona, that have been suicided after showing evidence between child trafficking and connection to the Clinton Foundation.
Wow.
They're desperate. They need to cover this up.
I can't believe that this doesn't get covered at all by almost anybody. I mean, certainly the mainstream news. Have you noticed that they never mention any of this at all? Like, it's not weird at all.
But what about Donald Trump's tax returns?
Oh, yeah. That's all they talk about. Seriously, like, what the fuck is up with
Russian
these people dying?
collusion, even though we already know that it was the Clinton Foundation and the State Department that actually colluded with Russia. No, we got to distract from the child trafficking that's currently going on.
Africa and Middle Eastern countries are where to go when the world ends. Well, that was where we went when the world began.
Well, if that's the case...
Essentially. No, I was just saying that's, supposedly that's where we were when the world started.
If that's the case, then why is it that you've got massive members of the elite, including the Bush family, Soros, Bezos, that are all buying houses in Australia and New Zealand in the southern hemisphere? What's planned for the northern hemisphere?
Of New Zealand? Or for us?
No, as in what's planned for North America while all these elites are moving down to the southern hemisphere to remote countries like New Zealand.
Yeah, I would pay attention to that, man. Move where they move. If you think so. If you think you need to. I mean, dude, look up the and we don't know what's coming. Like, we don't understand what's coming, but whatever it is, it's not a war because you don't start a war and then move away somewhere like that. That's something else. This is getting into, like, look at the water lines of the water, where the water would go if the water were to rise 40 feet. Look at where the water would go if something splashed down, or the poles end up shifting fast or slow. Like, that's what to look for, and that's. I mean, I wonder what the elevation is down there. Do you know? Because I don't, but what is the elevation in the southern hemisphere of New Zealand? I don't know. Anybody knows that can look it up, let me know. If it's the same as everywhere else,
it is a little more mountainous. A lot of the elite, including the Bush family, have bought in property also in South America, specifically in Argentina, a country I am an expert on. And there are vast, vast amounts of terrain that are essentially like Texas, open country that house hundreds of thousands of livestock that are basically owned under one family. This is the old money. Mm-hmm. And these places are in the south. They are surrounded by mountains and are fairly secure. Why is it that they're moving there? What is it that attracts these, billionaires to this area?
Well, here you go. Here's the answer. Much of the land is a high altitude, with the majority of high country being more than 600 meters. That's 2,000 feet above sea level. High country, New Zealand. That is crazy.
Very concerning. Is there a flood to happen? Are we to expect some sort of inundation or deluge? Do we need to build an ark?
I'm looking up, on average, 2.5 degrees Celsius global temperature. Coastal sea levels rise by 5 meters. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, I'm looking for the average.
Global warming won't cause a rise of sea levels, but I will tell you what will: a nuclear war.
Nuclear war. See, that would be like the lowest thing on my list. Although I would be worried about nuclear meltdowns with the destruction of the satellites with like a solar flare of some kind. I'd be worried about that, because that would take things out for 6 to 8 months, if not indefinitely. Because if stuff breaks down, because it will, Stuff after a fucking week, like people start losing their fucking minds. Can you imagine look at Puerto Rico. Can you imagine a month? Can you imagine you really can't imagine much more than 2 weeks and let alone 6 months, and all the while they're working to get things fixed during that time. And how are they eating, and where are their families? What are they doing? You know, look at Puerto Rico with the stuff when they the food and all the supplies, right? We got all the supplies to them from over here, and when it got there, it just sat in those containers because people that were supposed to deliver the food, they were on strike or something. They were like, and then other people were just like, well, I'm going to be with my family, so they couldn't even organize the people to get the food out to their people because they had already bailed.
Because the fact is that the actual governor of Puerto Rico did a press conference in front of all these foodstuffs. They had all the people ready and able to go.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It was a political stunt to try to say, oh, Trump isn't trying to help us, despite the fact that they disproved themselves on that video.
So, interesting that they don't go to, countries with the highest sea levels, like, I mean, I was, immediately when we were talking about this, I was thinking about, like, mountains, like, popular mountains and stuff like that, but I'm trying to look at, like, what's the country with the average amount of space that's the highest above sea level? You know, not just, like, one-off areas, like, and what's not populated now, right? Because if those areas are populated now, you know, they're probably not going to go running there to move there because they're already populated, so they can't really...
Probably the Southern American Altiplano.
Well, Tibet. I was looking at Tibet.
Well, there is the area in Tibet that is connected to the Gobi Desert. That's also a high altitude.
5,000 feet above sea level. Chile, 6,100. Afghanistan, 6,100. I mean, there's some weird... And
Asia has a lot of very high altitude.
Yeah, the white people are going away. Don't worry, everybody. China's number 10. Number 1 is. I
don't know why you're saying that.
I was just kind of joking around about them because the Middle East is like Asia's highest altitudes. I can't even say these names. Kyrgyzstan, Antarctica is another one. We knew that though.
Yeah, that's a desert though. It's all covered in ice.
Not going to be anything there for you, unless it melts. And then if it melts, then you got that water. So,
well, if you actually ever put a bunch of ice, if you fill a glass,
Afghanistan,
with ice cubes, and then fill it with water, and then let the ice cubes melt.
Oh yeah, overflows.
No, it doesn't.
No.
You know why? Because the ice cubes themselves take up so much space that area of space that they take up is less than the water in there. So if you were actually to let it all melt, it doesn't overflow.
But doesn't it expand? Doesn't it expand? Doesn't it expand?
No, it's not that it expands. It's that the ice cube takes so much volume. It takes up so much space that the water that's currently in there will have to fill up that space. And that, remember that when frozen, water does expand, so that when you actually reduce it back to its liquid form, it reduces in size. The ultimate result is basically that a cupful of ice cubes and water, once melted, will not overflow. That's the best example that you can give to the Earth. If the ice caps were to melt fully, which won't happen, you will not see the floods that all these globalists have been trying to push, that all these coastlines will get inundated. It is just factually false.
Boom. Dave Rose, I'm out of time. Cronin Speaks, Anything Goes, episode number 25. Dave, is there anything else you wanted to pass along before we get out of here?
No, just wanted to extend my appreciation for you to let me speak my mind.
Hell yeah, baby. What about Barracuda?
On this, it was a lot of great topics.
Yeah, I had fun, man. This is cool. This is a lot of fun. Barracuda, what up, man? Anything you wanted to mention?
Hashtag I'm a Joe Cronin guy.
Well, I know. Yeah.
Oh shit.
You started here. I take that really seriously when someone else goes. I get really fucking territorial when someone's like, "Oh, you know, this person's this type of guy or this type of this thing," or "Oh, you know, Dave only what the fuck did someone say recently? They said that you only
I'm a clout chasing flip flop.
They were like, "Oh, he started with Scott and them, and now he's back with Joe." And I'm like, "Hey, listen, fuckhead, this guy's been on my show for 6 years. I think 6 years, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 years. 5 years. So he's been here.
2014.
Been here a while. That might be 6 years actually, because I was thinking 2015. So yeah, that's almost 6 years, Dave. I've known Dave 6 years. It doesn't feel like we've known each other that long, because
it doesn't, man. Like, I can honestly remember back in the days when, you know, we were just like doing monetized this, and I was just a guest calling in.
Yeah.
With you and Tommy and Dave and Tosevich and the rest of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I gotta get my ass down to Boston. Give you a big kiss.
Yeah, I will blow you. You see another unwatchable? Yeah, probably an unwatchable Raw tonight. But it could be an interesting Raw tonight because they're losing their minds over the ticket sales. Sunday is coming up, and let me tell you something. This is an arena that holds 20,000 fans, and they have only marked off 10,000 seats. However, only 7,000 seats are available right now, and those are not sold out. So you right now you have 4,500 tickets sold. Going, and you have one last show tonight and tomorrow to explain why people need to buy tickets to this show. That's Sunday. This is on. I mean, like, let's say 1,000 more tickets get sold and they get 5,500 seats sold. That is gonna look fucked up on TV.
You know what I love to do is compare what's on TV to like what people are tweeting.
Right. You mean
so
like
you
the
can
fans?
see that the lies that they're trying to project.
Oh yeah, in the WWE. And listen,
yeah,
I love WWE too. When WCW was fighting WWE, I hated WCW. I'm a big WWE guy, but the bottom line is something needs to change. It just has to. You can't just sit there and be like, and I get the young people doing it. You know, like, oh, I just love WWE. Screw everything else. So great. It's amazing. Who cares? Like, you don't understand. Like, there's a problem. There's a major problem. If you don't understand, you're a blind person. There's a lot of blind people on Twitter, which is fine. I mean, half of them, if you fucking watch a video they put out, you're like, oh, now I understand. They are brain dead. The people that Vince used to make fun of, like, wrestling fans are dumb. They'll just believe it. They won't even know, blah, blah. Those are the people on Twitter that are like, I love WWE still. What are you talking about? And somebody earlier, what did they donated earlier? I forget who the donator was. Somebody, and thank you guys for the donations, but somebody earlier said they were like, oh, you know, can you name the superstars? Now I feel like they have too many, and that's the problem. And it's like, yeah, that is the problem. There's, instead of 50, 70 guys, there's 300 people. But the problem is, back then when they had 50 wrestlers, they had like, 3 to 5 to 10 top names. You know, in the 80s, they had Hogan and Macho and Warrior at some point, and Bret Hart even when he was getting up there, and Shawn Michaels. And then they had Stone Cold and The Rock and Jericho and Triple H and Kane and The Undertaker. And at certain points, they always had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like top guys. And now it feels like they don't have the top guy at all. So not only is it watered down with 500, 300 wrestlers as opposed to 50 to 70, but they don't have a superstar. They don't have a superstar. They have guys who can really wrestle pretty awesome. But that's all they have. And they have a catchphrase and a catch name. The man who does incredible awesome things on a Friday and burn it down, and the champ that runs the camp of SmackDown Live, whatever. Titles that don't mean anything to anybody. You know, it's like when The Rock came up with titles for himself or names for himself. The jabroni eating, the pie eating, the jabroni beating, like blah, blah, blah. And he says all this stuff. You're like, holy shit, that's awesome. You know, but when AJ Styles says, what does he say about SmackDown? I can't even remember it. He's like,
It's the house
AJ Styles built.
Yeah, this is the house that AJ Styles built. It's like, what does that really mean? You know, it doesn't mean anything. Makes no sense, actually. Now, if he created SmackDown himself for some reason, and there was like a story behind that, and he showed up and he did all these things, he'd be like, I built this brand. I built it. Then it would make sense. You'd be like, oh yeah, this guy built this brand. I get it. Or like the ratings went up when he arrived or something, and he could be like, the ratings went up 2 million people when I got here, and they gone up ever since.
The problem is that there's no separation between the two brands. What does it fucking matter if he built the House of SmackDown?
Right.
The lines are so blurred between the two fucking brands, which was a mistake to fucking go into. Although I always liked the original brand split. I always said this second attempt to go at it was just a mistake. And this, I think, is just total proof. The words are meaningless. The titles are meaningless.
Yeah. Yeah, the
just
titles.
Look how people responded.
No, that's the other thing is you're right. The titles are meaningless. Back in the day, the WWF title was everything. And the Intercontinental Championship really felt the IC belt and the world title meant something, and the tag belts, they all meant something so much if they felt so important.
Title, just like a video I watched the other day of Macho Man, was basically, this is my ticket to the heavyweight title. This proves that I'm ready and better than everyone else to get that position, to get that title.
Right.
And it meant something.
And not only that, but they always didn't go to the world title either. So it also made the world title then feel even bigger. Because even if you were a good IC belt champion, you sometimes didn't make it to the world title anyway. So it felt like it's really important, but it also felt like clearly the WWF Championship is the top belt, but clearly the IC Championship is important. And now it just feels like a fucking cartoon. A shit. So many belts. Yeah, Barracuda, go ahead, man. Anything you want to say before I end this?
Really what I was going to say was more along the lines of like what you were saying about AJ Styles and his catchphrase. It really doesn't make sense. And somebody actually posted in the comments.
Joe, I'll go gay for you. Is that okay?
Casey is
How's it
raw.
going?
Casey is raw. Go raw for me, Casey. Please go raw for me. Thank you, Casey. What did they say in the comments, Barracuda?
Somebody said The Rock lay at the SmackDown, basically his catchphrase. You think about that. Didn't he start saying that before SmackDown was made?
You know what it's like? It's like when I come on my show, right, and we joke around. Like, it was like the night remember the Cran? A lot of you may remember, like, what was it, like 4 months ago? I was in the basement. I was just doing a rant. I was talking about some stuff, and authentically, I was just sitting here, and I was drinking cranberry juice, and somebody was like, "Oh, Joe's drinking like cranberry juice, whatever." I was like, "Yeah, it's not just cranberry juice; it's the cran, man. You don't understand. You don't have the cran. I have the cran." Because it's a special cranberry you can't get. It's only available in Cape Cod, and I mix it a certain way, and then I mix it with my cock, and that's how it becomes the cran. So you can't have the cranberry, you can't have the cran, and then people started going crazy with the cran this, the cran that. Bring out the cran again. Donations coming in. Hey Joe, when's the cran gonna? And then I made a T-shirt that sold. People were saying cran everywhere. I made a donation. People still donate it nowadays. Last night they did on the gaming stream, and just people started talking about the cran. None of that was fucking planned, and it just became a thing that was cool. The cran. Everybody's talking about the cran, and it was fucking authentically cool. But if I came out and I was just like, "What's up, everyone? It's me, Joe Cronin, the wrestling man who can," you'd be like, "What?
That was fucking retarded.
What a fucking lame idiot. What the fuck is it?" That's literally what happened. Stone Cold got on a microphone and was like, "Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass." And then the people decided that we're going to have Austin 316 signs. That was cool. We're all going to decide to do that. And then that's how the best ideas happen. And it's like, but AJ Styles, he never cut a promo that was so cool. And he cut a promo on purpose and said, "I'm the champ that runs the camp." Like, he purposely said that as a catchphrase. And it was like, that sounds dumb. And then everyone's saying it and they're forcing it. And the extraordinary guy who does extraordinary things for Finn Balor, that's a catchphrase that just the commentators gave him. So now they're going to say it all the time. It doesn't. That's not cool. No, go ahead, man.
Or it's kind of like when Neville was around. You know, what was it they used to say during his introduction? The man that
Gravity forgot.
Gravity forgot.
Yeah, like, and even that, like, I get it. I get that. I get that they're saying that. And they're trying to, and I sort of get it too, that they're trying to add to the character. But the problem is, it's like, you're trying to add to the character. But the only way he's really going to get over is if he adds to the character. And it works if in a match. If Neville does some crazy flip over the top rope through someone, and like somebody calls that, and like, and here comes Neville, and he's Neville, oh my God, the man that gravity forgot, or like that type of thing, like, and you say it authentically in the match, like, what can I say to that? Because it's so breathtaking. If the announcer says that, and then people start saying that, and it becomes cool, and the commentators mention it, then that's cool. But if they just tell you it, it's fucking stupid.
Joe, I can skull fook you or fook you in the butt.
Casey is raw. I will take both of those things. Thank you very much. We got Dave Rose here. We're going to wrap up in a second.
Hello?
Barracuda. Unknown caller on the phone. Hello.
Hey, I just have two questions for the Joe Cronin Show.
Yes, yes.
Do you think the NBA and all those sports are rigged?
Yes.
Okay, my answer to that is I don't believe that all sports are rigged. But I do believe at times certain games have been attempted to be influenced, yes. So, like, the answer is yes and no.
Okay. Well, my last question, do you think, if WWE came out with an all-women's wrestling game like Rumble Roses did, do you think it would sell well?
No, because their merchandise doesn't sell well in women's gear either, so I'm just going by the sales of the toys, the action figures, and that sort of thing. The women's stuff, and I'm not trying to be disparaging to them, because they had, like, Sasha Banks when she was in NXT, her stuff was at the top as far as sales go. But the women's toys and stuff like that, the Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch toys and stuff like that, Becky had a spike recently, but overall, that stuff has not sold very well.
Okay. Well, how do you think Rumble Roses, that wrestling game, sold so well?
Has it? Do you know how many units has it sold or whatever? You know?
I don't know, but I know it's pretty popular. It was pretty popular. They had one on the PlayStation 2 and for the 360.
Oh man,
it was pretty popular.
I gotta tell you, I never heard of that. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, was it? I guess I feel like Dave. You ever heard of that?
Of what specifically?
Rumble Rose or something? A female wrestling game?
Roses.
No, I've never actually heard of that game.
Popular.
On what platform?
It was, the first one was for the PlayStation 2, and then they made a sequel for the 360.
I've never heard of this game before.
It's really
I'm
good.
actually kind of curious now about this.
Yeah, can I beat off to it? Well, thanks for the call, man. I'm not sure if he was trolling or...
I'll tell you what you can beat off to is Dead or Alive, the beach
now that I know
beach
about.
volleyball game.
That I know
jiggle
about.
engine coding was fucking on par.
Oh, God. Imagine if there was a code where you could make them, like, squirt in their undies while they were... And, like, milk come out of their titties while they were playing. Oh, that game would be so bad now.
You're sick, but that is hot.
All
right.
Yeah.
Rumble Roses is what it's called. I just want to quickly
maybe
check. It's for the PlayStation, but it looks like it was either Japanese exclusive or it was predominant in Japan. Very odd. Rumble Roses.
I don't think it was that as popular as he says, at least here. Because nobody knows about it. Maybe a couple people in the chat. Did you see... This is how I'm going to end the show. On my other channel, guys, if you guys haven't checked it out, please check out youtube.com/corruptedpodcast. But it's called Corrupted Nation now, so just go look up Corrupted Nation. And I'm going to have a cool like flag with the corrupted symbol and make it look all funny. But Corrupted Nation, go subscribe to it because that's where I do most of my non-wrestling talk. And also, please check out my Patreon where I can say shit that YouTube won't let me say. And we do all our podcasts. There's a fucking 3-hour Corrupted podcast with me, Ken, and Justin Bailey. The original 3 the other night. I thought it was one of our best shows. Please go listen to that, or at least one of the better ones recently. Go listen.
And Corrupted Nation is now the new home of the greatest show on YouTube. Monetize this.
That's a good point.
Oh, so it's official?
Yeah, we streamed it on Friday from there.
Sorry, I got drunk and passed out early.
Yeah, there was a lot of people missing Friday. I wasn't sure if they was because they didn't know it was on the other channel or what happened. But it was a good amount of people were there still. We had about 600 or 700 or something like that. I don't know. It's a good time. But, yeah, so the last thing I want to close on is, did you see that video I put out, Dave, about IGN being like, oh, the game, you know, if only Call of Duty, you know, if there was a way to, like, for the game not to be lethal, then
non-lethal, yeah. You did, I think, either you did 2 videos or you did a video and you spoke about it on another video.
Yes.
I remember you speaking about it multiple times. I literally wanted to kill myself listening to this stuff, like listening to the interviews.
Oh, my God.
Because, first of all, how did these people be, like, how were they allowed out in public and not be held within a home for mentally retarded people?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, first of all, non-lethal.
Yeah.
And what was it? Call of Duty, right?
Yeah. I mean,
non-lethal and Call of Duty, they don't belong in the same fucking. Non-lethal and first-player shooter do not belong in the same sentence.
Like that was the biggest thing to me. I'm like, is this guy a robot and he's like malfunctioning? Is this the clip? Hold on, for the people that didn't hear Halo and stuff like that. It's a little bit less real. Auto when you bash someone's head in to take
the clip
their
of
car.
him saying it is.
I think.
Oh wow.
Tacked onto the end of that demo like that would have.
It was so bad that in the video that I'm reacting to this, I wasn't sure what non-lethal meant to him. I thought maybe he meant something different. Like that's how bad that is. I was like, he must mean something else by non-lethal.
I think that would have, if that had been tacked onto the end of that demo like that would have. Line coming out of the Modern Warfare reboot or reimagining, whatever you want to call it. If the headline coming out of this was, you can play this game non-lethally, I think that would have, if that had been tacked onto the end of that demo, like that would have really changed my opinion of it.
Okay, what does he mean by playing it non-lethally? That you don't die from a heart attack? Because that guy really has to do some exercise if he wants that to happen. Because, quite honestly, like, what are you talking about?
Dude, fucking like, Pac-Man. Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, so you never played any of these games because you could die?
Street Fighter then? Street Fighter, he just wants to like fight people non-lethally, no fatalities, no Mortal Kombat, so you know, a fight non-lethal, is that what you want? Like, I mean, why don't you just go play like Barbie's Funhouse or whatever the fuck?
Well, Barbies aren't good anymore.
You're playing a game that one of the advantages is to be able to disable your enemy by killing them. That's what war is about, and you're asking for that to be removed? Dude, these people should not be allowed to walk in public.
The guy was sent there to review the game or the demo, and he says, well, you know, if maybe at the end it said in this game you don't have to kill anybody, then maybe I would have liked it.
What about those 2 dumb idiots, the 2 females?
Oh God,
who initially start to like harp on, oh, it's scary in all these situations, despite the fact that we've been doing that since the time of text-based games where it gives you description of your surroundings and you might get freaked out because the writing is good. Mm-hmm. Once that got translated to images, that got better, and so forth and so on. And in the end of their fucking little interview, they're like, oh, well, yeah, I guess it kind of looks good, or whatever thing they said. Like, how can these people even be paid a salary?
Oh, okay, I'm coming, baby. No, it's
insane.
Well, it's history repeating
These
itself,
are the
man.
Game reviewers of today.
Think about this, like books back in the day, right? Somebody writes a book, a novel or a horror book or something like that, and they just they get worse and worse. And you get critics like this back then saying things like that. And the same thing here. It's total dishonesty and delusion to say, like, oh, I would have liked the game if it had said that you didn't have to kill people in it. Like, well, what are you talking about? These people are reviewing a game that they don't even know about, or they're lying about. One of the two. And listen, my daughter wants me to come upstairs with her, and I told her I would, and we went late anyway. So listen, Dave, I love you guys. Thank you very much. Barracuda, Dave, everybody else that called. Leah came down earlier. And Dave, I will talk to you later, bro. I'll be on Facebook.
All right.
Brenna says hi.
Bye.
Say hi to Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Brenna.
Bye-bye.
How did you know my name?
Your daddy told me.
Everybody knows you. Dude, Gavin's like, how do these people know all this stuff? I'm like, because I tell people about you, bro. I tell the whole world about you. And he's like, what? Why do you do that? I'm like, I'm just kidding. I don't really tell him that much. All right. Goodbye, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Jeez.
See you later.
Later, man. Hey, everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much for everybody that donated a couple bucks. Thank you for that. And I think I played all the donations. I will see you tonight for the Raw review in a couple hours. And let's hope Raw was good tonight, man, because if it's not, oh my God. There you go. You got what you want. You get to be on video. Wave hi. Are you showing people a heart right now?
Daddy, this is mixed up, see?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
See? I'm doing this I'm doing this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's backwards, honey. It reflects differently, so you're seeing it's not like a mirror, it's the opposite. Everything is kind of like Isn't that funny? You got my eyes. Show everybody my eyes. Should do like this. You got my eyes. We can same eyes. Now you get zombie eyes. Alright, guys. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Had fun. I will see you tonight after Monday Night Raw. And where's the reggae stuff? Bring it back.
What reggae stuff?
This. Love you.